What's up guys, you're here with Alex from Social Freedom, and in today's video I'm actually going to be sharing a behind the scenes clip of me coaching a client that just completed our recent live 5-day immersion program in Krakow, Poland. Now with this specific breakdown, I had a client that approached a cute girl from the Czech Republic, and he came back from the interaction getting her number, but I can see from a trained eye that this number's probably most likely going to flag. So in the breakdown, I gave a few little value bombs and tips that he can do with the next girl he approaches. So some of the emphasis I make in this breakdown is just focusing purely on his conversational skills, being able to build a little bit more investment and connection, and also when actually inviting the girl for a future date, learning how to do that properly. So guys, if you want to see that clip, watch now, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Yeah, so with the Czech girl that you just approached?
Yeah.
Okay, so the open was good, yeah? So in terms of how you stopped her, you went direct. The traditional, way that we start the conversations was good. Where you kind of ran into a few blocks there, bro, is just transitioning into normal, like level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. Like the first thing you did was just screen for like, what are you up to today? Like, it's not terrible to ask on the first question as you've started the conversation after you've gone direct. It's not the worst thing to do, but you're better off just to build a little bit of rapport and actually like start the conversation. By the way, where are you from? Or you look like a tourist, or how come you have such a big bag and you're walking around the city? Make an assumption, something like this, and then transition to a normal little conversation and then ask her later what she's doing. Because screening for logistics is important, yeah? Because we need to understand kind of what a situation's like so we can figure out if it's going to be a shorter term interaction, if we could have like a 10-15 minute chat, or it might be a potential instant date. Yeah. And because she had a bag and she was a tourist, yeah, there was high potential for potentially going for the instant date, which was sweet. So screening for it early is not terrible, but you just want to build a little bit more rapport. Yeah. The other thing too, man, just be aware of like how girls are communicating at the very beginning. You probably didn't pick up on it, but her English wasn't amazing. And because you hadn't given the conversation the time to kind of just warm up a little bit at the beginning stages, you weren't able to see how limited her English was. So you were doing like the vast majority of the talking and not really asking enough questions to get her to open up to demonstrate how good her English was. I could tell, because I've dealt with so many fucking Europeans before, that her English was pretty fucking haggard. So you just need to like just check in with her to see how good her English is by either asking her questions or asking her, hey, how good's your English, by the way? Because a big part of why a girl might not be investing when you ask them questions is because they just get nervous to speak English. Especially when she's a Czech girl, she's here, she's a tourist, and she's only giving you like one-word answers, I would bring it up. The other thing you want to do as well, as soon as you can identify that potential, sticking point in terms of how she's communicating with you, being a little more open, receptive, is as you ask her, like, by the way, do you speak good English? And she goes, oh, it's not so good. All you got to do, bro, is just give her a little bit of positive reinforcement and say, well, actually, to be honest with you, I've been to Prague, and I've been a few times actually, and to be honest, you have some of the best English I've come across. Your English is actually very good. So you just need to give her a little bit of positive reinforcement to speak a bit more English and actually engage with you. Because, dude, you speak Spanish, right? Yeah. I've told you this the other day. As a Spanish speaker, when you first started learning, it was a little intimidating to speak the language, like without having the fucking, the Wales fucking accent or the UK accent or whatever, and having the right pronunciation and speaking the language, etc. So you get nervous, the girls get nervous too, but if someone gave you a bit of positive reinforcement and said, wait, Juan, like your Spanish is amazing, and they said that in the Spanish language, you would then feel a little bit better about yourself and want to like express a bit more and have a bit more fun and actually, continue the conversation a bit more. So that's like one thing that I really want you to pay attention with girls that are foreign, that don't necessarily speak English. The other thing too, bro, just in terms of your level 1, 2, 3 questions, yeah? When I asked you earlier, like how much information do you know about the girl? Like what do you even know about her? You know that she's from fucking the Czech Republic, she's here on a holiday, she has a fucking big bag, she's gonna catch up with some friends, and you know her name. But apart from that, you don't know why she's here, you don't know how long she's traveling here for, or maybe she said she was here for a week, right? Yeah, so you don't know if she's like traveling all across Europe for the summer, you didn't know if she was studying or working or if she was going back to Prague, and like you just didn't have like a general understanding of who that chick was, and she didn't really have a general understanding of who you were either. Like there was very minimal amounts of information. It was just a little bit clunky. Now, obviously that was like our first decent interaction of the day, because a lot of these chicks that we've been meeting today, they've been pretty fucking busy, yeah? Like a bit in a rush. So I don't want you to put too much pressure on yourself thinking like, okay, I need to be perfect in the way that I converse. We just need to just take a step back, relax a little bit in the next ones, and just take a little bit more time focusing on purely the conversation, getting to know the girl. Screening for the boyfriend was really good. So that's like the framework, right? It's like opening, starting the conversation. At some point we screen for emotional availability and logistics. You screen for logistics and you also screen for the boyfriend. Now, that's good because we want to see that she's fucking single, right? But what happened is, she said, well, actually, no, I'm single. I don't want to be in a relationship. I didn't mind the little tease that you threw in there. It's like, oh, that's a bit presumptive. I'm not necessarily offering to be your boyfriend. That's not terrible. You can do it. But what you would have been better off to do with a girl like that, so she says, I don't want to be in a relationship. You can literally just ask her, like, okay, why is that? Do you enjoy being single? And then some of the things that are implied with her saying she'd prefer to be single, especially having a backpack like that and traveling, maybe she's like just traveling the world for a year, just wants to have the freedom and have fun, and she's a little bit more spontaneous and she's happy to do like more adventurous things, which is good because you can get an insight into her mentality. If she's the type of girl that wants to travel, have fun and be single, in terms of you, bud, being here in Krakow and her being in Krakow, she's here for a week, maybe she's a little bit more open to, you know, meeting a cool guy. If she has chemistry, maybe she'll go home with him and have like some cool adventures. Maybe she just wants to explore sexuality. Maybe she's just come out of a long-term relationship and she wants to enjoy being single. And with that little bit of information, if you probed into it, it's like, okay, so why don't you want to be in a relationship? You're just enjoying being single. Why are you enjoying being single? And then she might be like, oh, well, you know, I came out of a bad relationship, or I just came out of a relationship and now I just want to travel. Look at the amount of conversational threads that you can get out of that one specific thing, that one specific topic, if you were to dive into it. Yeah? Okay. So that's what I would have done instead. Like the tease was okay, but you didn't deliver it like with a lot of fucking oomph and a lot of balls. So it didn't hit the way that you wanted to. I understood what you were doing. I thought it was funny. But next time, as soon as a girl says, no, I don't want to be single, I don't want to be in a relationship, your curiosity should be like, oh, I wonder why. Yeah, because a lot of women, they like, most of the time for most chicks, their mentality is they want to meet someone. They like being in relationships, especially like more conservative nations like the Czech Republic. They're a little bit like the fucking Polish girls too. They're a little bit more sexually conservative by nature. I wonder why she enjoys being single. But I literally just see that as a blueprint of, she's a traveler girl. She's probably traveling all around fucking Europe for the summer. She's probably just come out of a relationship. She wants to have fun, party, experiment with her sexuality potentially, have some cool experiences, which is a big thing for you. Now, if you had spent a little bit more time building some investment and having like a decent conversation with her, and getting her to open up a little bit more and expressing a little bit more of your personality as well. Yeah. I think if you had sat there, because like, dude, she had like, I think when you screened for logistics, she was catching up with some friends in like 10 to 15 minutes, or 10 to 20 minutes. She wasn't 100% sure. She had to catch a tram at some point. You had a decent amount of time to continue the conversation. But I think one, you kind of ran out of things to say. So you got a little bit in your head for one. Yeah. So like it kind of just kind of fizzled out. But let's say, for example, you just kind of kept things going. You could have chatted for like another 5-10 minutes, and then potentially, even though she's saying she's catching a tram, maybe then see if you could go to the coffee shop just around here. Potentially you could have gone for a quick fucking 10-minute, 15-minute coffee, and then also screen for her logistics later on as well, because that's another thing. It's like if you couldn't have taken her on instant date today, even though you potentially could have, just for a short one, right? Before she catches the tram. Yeah. Or even if you just stay around and hang out for like fucking 10 minutes to build the investment and have a nice conversation before she leaves. You could have made that a little bit more solid and actually screened for her logistics as well for later on, either tonight or later on in the week, to potentially set up a date. Yeah? So these are just things that you just need to be mindful of. And also when you went for the number as well, the Instagram, just a little bit more clarity around making plans. Yeah. So like, oh, maybe like, you know, you seem nice. Maybe you're traveling. I love Czech people. Maybe I can get your Instagram. That's fine. But you want to actually explain to her like why you want to contact details. You're a tourist. She's a tourist. She's here for a week. You're here for a week. What's the point of exchanging Instagrams? Potentially to meet up and go for a date or hang out or go for a coffee or meet up at the clubs or whatever the fuck it might be. You want to try and make some plans, yeah? So you could have said to her, it's like, okay, cool. Like, what's your plans for the rest of the week? Are you doing a bunch of touristy things? Are you just hanging out with your friends? Do you have any spare time, or is your schedule pretty jam-packed? If she said it's jam-packed, probably not the best lead anyway. But if she says, oh, you know, I'm just going to go do a few touristy things, check out the castle, walk around the city, explore. Maybe I'll go to fucking Auschwitz or what's that sand thing? The fucking
salt mine.
The salt mine. I don't even know. I'm the shittest tourist ever. The salt mines. And maybe like for you want to do something like that too. Potentially you could find a girl that you could, you know, go with. But you're also screening to see if she has a bit more free time. So if she's just kind of cruising around, you could say, well, look, listen, like if you have a spare, like, I don't know, afternoon when you're not doing a bunch of touristy stuff, maybe I could take you out for a coffee another time, or I could take you out for a drink. Would that be cool? And then she goes, yeah, sweet. Okay, cool. What's the best way to get in contact with you? Instagram. And then as you're ending the interaction, she goes, sweet. Look, I'll flick you a text and we'll see if we can line something up over the coming days. Sound good? Yeah. Sweet. Nice to meet you. Give her a nice little hug, and then you end the interaction. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that specific one. So what I would say for the next conversation that we jump into with the next pretty girl that you approach, what I really want you to primarily focus on is your opens are good, yeah? I just want you to focus on the conversational skills throughout the interaction and just focusing on the level 1, level 2, yeah? The surface level and personal. Just build a little bit more investment so you can build a bit more connection, get to know the girl a little bit more, she can get to know you a little bit more, and you're good to go. All the stuff that we did the training and the theory and the role plays with yesterday.
Okay.
Sound cool?
Yep, great.
Sweet.
Sweet, so hopefully you guys enjoyed these behind the scenes coaching clips, and if you got some value from it, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And guys, if you want to get access to more content that we can't actually post here on YouTube, then feel free to join our free private Facebook group where we post a shit ton more dating and self-development content. And also guys, I might as well throw it out there. If you want to do a coaching program, you want to do a mentorship online, or you want to work with us in person, then all you got to do is click on the link in the description to book a free consultation call for all coaching inquiries. But until then guys, see you in the next video.